So I have a ZT knife here. This is a 0450. It's a Sencut design in S35VN, full titanium. I got this on the secondary market used. And of course, you got to be careful. Like I've talked about it. Buying a knife like this on the secondary market can be kind of risky because they're copied. And so I vetted this one out pretty hard, but it also did come with a box, which is a pretty good indicator. I mean, there's other things to check, lettering, placement, certain things on these knives. But one of the things is a box with a matching serial number can go a long way on these. Of course, having a legitimate seller, other things can play in. I got this at a reasonable price, and part of the reason, I believe, is the knife has been sharpened and not up to my standards. So we'll be handling that in this video, but I'm going to go ahead and check it in otherwise, and we'll get to the sharpening part. Need to give it a good look-see and look for any wear items, scratching, I mean, overall, I'm looking at this blade. I don't see any wear. I mean, I see the slightest little indicator of wear here on this tip. This pivot looks pristine. I don't really see, now the stonewash on the titanium helps a lot because it hides little snail trails, but I don't see any wear there. I don't see any wear, obviously, or obvious wear on the bottom. On the front, on the other side, I don't see any wear. And this pivot as well is pristine. It's not scratched. And this side of the blade, I'm not seeing any wear marks. I just see it's kind of janky here on the tip, the sharpening. The clip shows the tiniest little wear there. And the seller disclosed that this knife reveals some wear. It was carried a couple of times and disclosed that it did. And so really this was a price point purchase. If I could get it at the right price, I'd be willing to take on what I saw here. And I did. So the flipper action, I don't know if I can fail it. I'm going to try. Nope. The D10 is solid on it. The lock bar has got a lot of tension on it, and so it takes quite a bit of effort to get that down. Now, if I just give it one hard snap, it runs all the way. So, I mean, overall, the action's pretty smooth, but I will say that this detent on the flipper is pretty strong, and this lock bar is, the tension on it, I mean, it's slightly lowered, scalloped here, and if you look, there's not a lot of room to get in here, and so I'm having to dig pretty good to get to this. There's a ton of tension on this, so I'll be interested to see. It looks like it's lining up this line to the inside of that scale. I'll be interested to see where all that's at. I do not have one of these, so this is my first time in hand. This is the smaller version. There is a larger version that I believe is carbon fiber, and it's the 04, it's the 0452, and it's a little bigger, but same piece. This is an interesting smaller knife. I have some wonderful smaller knives. As a matter of fact, one of my in-pocket knives today is my little PPY, the Kizer 154 cm, and I mean they're pretty much cellmates right here. If you look at them, yeah, they look very similar. And I mentioned it before, but this PPY right here is going to be a giveaway for channel members coming up soon. So I thought I'd carry it a little bit, get my scent on it. Stupid, man. All right, but yeah, it's been in my pocket. I like it a lot. Part of the reason it's in my pocket is because I have another one that I need to get out. And so I've got it in my pocket so that when I get that one out, I can kind of refer back to it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get in this thing and check this action, and because it seems kind of rigid. So I'm going to see if I can't sort that out. Now the pivot's not captured, and that doesn't necessarily surprise me because a lot of these older ones didn't have captured detent or pivots. I needed T8. I think that's one right there. Yeah. All right, let's put it in this bit driver. And we'll tag team it. There we go. Pretty stiff. It's got quite a bit of Loctite in there, I'm going to guess. Yeah, you can see it on the threads. It's been Loctited up. Quite a bit of goop underneath the screw, the pivot screw. And since that side came out, I'm going to attack these two right here so that hopefully this side of the scale will come apart. And yeah, it looks like this is the side that, if it's ever been disassembled, this is the way it went. Now, am I going to try to flip it over? You know I am. Big long screws go all the way through to the other scale. Let's take some tension off, see if we can't pop that open. And we did. One of the little spacers went for a ride. I mean, it's kind of dirty in here. Could definitely make an improvement. Get it cleaned up, lubed proper. Doesn't look lubed. And I am thinking there is a lot of Loctite going on here because it's not wanting to readily come up. Which a lot of times that could be that Loctite, you know, it gets over the pivot and gets around the pivot and just binds everything up. There it is. Yeah, there's not anything that's going to keep me from coming from the other side on this. That way we can mount everything going down. There's kind of quite a bit of crud on this pivot as well. I mean, like I can feel it, the crud that's on there. So that will help the action. And then this, maybe I can get a little bit of tension off of that. A little bit. This barrel spacer can come off. It'll go in the other side. So here we go. I mean, some cleanup. I'm trying to decide if I should just put it in the ultrasonic and give it a good, you know, a good bath. I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a bath. So I'll be back. We'll catch up, and yep, we're gonna stop the video. I'll get it all cleaned up, and when we come back, it'll be clean and shiny here on the bench. Okay, back at it. I know it was just a blink of an eye there, but yeah, this thing soaked for quite a bit, and really, really happy with how this turned out. Like the bearings look like brand new. All the hardware. I mean, it's one of the things with the ultrasonic, like even the tiniest hardware, it's amazing how clean it comes out. Even this pivot, all that, this whole thing was just crusted with junk on it. and look at it. I mean, it came out of there like brand new. This side as well. Yeah, wonderful. One of the questions I have, I think when this knife is together, the 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 blade is angled such that it puts it in very close proximity to the top of the scale to sharpen, and that might explain this little rub that I found here. So what I don't want to do is do that again. So I'm going to peek at this. I just want to see, like, if it was closed and I was going to sharpen that, I'd be roughly there. And yeah, so to get to this edge right here, it puts that in play. So I think I'm going to sharpen this edge out of the knife, which the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to get a grip on this blade here. I've got some little vice grips, and I'll put a rag on it, and then I'll grip that, and I'm going to get it sharpened. So I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll be right back. Okay, so in the end, well, hold on one sec. Okay, so in the end, what I'm trying to do here, I mean, I'm not trying to grind a new blade here. I just need a handhold, any kind of handhold, so that I can sharpen this. Now, could I do it and just hold on to the blade itself? Probably, but boy, it's a whole lot easier if I attach a little handle to it. Yep. So, anyways, let me get to it. Let's look at this edge so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It's just not crisp. I'm not sure how it was sharpened. And you can see that, like maybe it was run over a ceramic on top of an edge. And then look there, you can really see there what I'm talking about. It's just got a uneven, unbalanced look all the way through that blade. And then the tip on this side got whopped. Yeah, it got laid over. See how uneven that is? I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but it's way uneven. So I'm going to fix all that. I'll be right back. Okay. Well, I am done with this edge. And yeah, I put one of those on it. And we'll check it when we're at that part of the check-in. But I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I will say that I didn't follow one of my own lessons, and that is whenever you're doing reprofiling, especially on the tip, man, just go big. Get the heavy grit, the heavy stone grit, however you're polishing, but start big and get that portion squared away, and then lower your grit size. Well, I don't know why, but on this thing, I decided I was going to start at 800 grit, and I found the angle. It's like 17 degrees basically, and so I went with a 800 grit, and it hit it wonderfully. But man, I could not get this tip. And so I ended up backing up, more grit, more grit, more grit. Eventually, I was at 100 grit, reprofiling the blade, which is where I should have started. So, I mean, you learn stuff. You don't really know that you learned it until you don't follow it. And, and then you learn it, right? Then you're like, oh, what was I thinking? Stop pin, there you are. But anyways, I got it, and I'm confident that it is going to be sharp and meet my expectations. Well, that feels pretty good right there. think I better put that screw back in. I took the screw out. How about these little barrel spacers? I wonder if that red is a stock part or if that's aftermarket. Little titanium barrel spacers. I don't know. I'm gonna check. I may have to take some of that detent off. I started to take that steel insert off just for that purpose, but it didn't want to come right out of there. So I left it. And I may have to take it off because that feels really strong on there. Let me look, see if I can get a gauge for that. Yeah, it was about lined up there. I'm gonna look at it before I put it together, because if it's way off, there ain't no sense me going too far. Let's see. I mean, it's not that far off. I think I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna be careful with this thing. It's so shiny. Slip of the screwdriver and that thing will be marred up. I think it's spinning. Let's get one of these back ones in. And then I want to check that action. Gonna need my second pair of hands here. And yeah, it didn't matter that I switched it to the other side because the other screws come in from the other side. There's no way to flip-flop them. I'm talking about these scale screws. These here, they have to go in from there. Yep. But what do we got? I mean, it's improved, but it's loose. I'm gonna need to tighten it up. And one of the indicators is it's off center just a little bit. I'm sure as I tighten it, it'll get on center. Yep, brought it right over. I mean, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to leave that and I'm going to get the rest of this put together. I mean, that ultrasonic, I've said it before, it cleans so deep that the knife even feels different. I know that's silly, but the perception is it feels different. Anyways, I mean, I don't know, is the scales overall cleaner? I mean, if it's been handled, it's got, hand oils and all kinds of stuff in there. And when you put it in that cleaner, all of that gets cleaned out of there. All right, well, we're complete. No play. Just shy of drop shut, but super hydraulic. I mean, I'm going to get that out of the way. And I don't need these. All right, let's talk about this action. I mean, it's wonderful, but it's probably a B plus. Can I fail it? Nope. It's just that detent bar. I think if I took just the slightest bit off of it, this knife would run. It would drop shut. I got to do it. I got to try. Okay. Well, it wasn't having none of that because the metal insert is frozen in there. And it's not worth me trying to heat that and do all that and mess with that. And the main reason I say that is because, in the end, the action on it, it's definitely a B plus. It's really nice. So let's move to ergonomics. 4-finger grip, I can just get my fourth finger on the back end of this locked in behind the jimping on the flipper tab. There's not so confident, very confident, and this little stinger starts rising up towards very confident. It's really good in hand. The reverse grip, very powerful. This thing's really not happening. Yeah, so overall grip in the hand is pretty solid. And, it's a smaller knife, very comfortable in hand. Let's try this pocket clip. Yeah, just as smooth as could be. Got a little bit coming out of the pocket there. That's okay. Yeah, it's got a good look coming out of there. It's not a lot of tension on the thin stuff. And I'm actually going to fix that. I'm going to put a little tension on this. Okay. Took it off, put a little tension on it. Let's see what we got. This is standard jean size material. Yeah, really nice now. Very good tension on it. And if I took a tumble or went running, when I reach back for this knife, it's going to be where I left it. Yeah, it's wonderful now. Let's check it for safety. See if we can make any blade contact here. There's none through the back, through the scales, and the tip is recessed. So the tip's good. The clip is awesome now. And I'm confident that I can handle this knife in any way as long as it's closed and not catch a sharp part. Did I say shape part? What am I saying? All right, let's see how that edge turned out. How'd that work? Yeah, I put that kind of edge on it. This knife deserves that edge. Deserves to be stupid sharp like that. It's not a heavy work knife. I've got some ZTs that aren't, very refined, but they're very robust. And this, I wouldn't say, is necessarily one of those. This Sencut 0450 is kind of a gentlemanly knife. It's pretty cool. Smaller, but it still definitely carries the ZT heritage. Yeah, pretty neat. I appreciate y'all checking it out with me and looking it over. Hold on. Maybe we better do price and availability. Like, where are these and how much are they right now? I don't know. One of y'all might be interested after watching. All right. Okay. So, new you're going to be, what I'm seeing is like 225 to 250. Now I saw some as high as $300, but I'm seeing some around 220 as well. The used market, I mean, I think a legit knife that's not beat, you're $140 and up. You know, my guess would be 140 to 175 for a good, in good shape used piece. You get too much lower than 145, it really starts to get suspect on whether it's a legit or a clone. These things are readily cloned, and so, man, it's risky to get them on the secondary market. It definitely is. Finding one with a box that the serial numbers match up, there's so many of these for sale, and they say no box, and it's kind of like, whoa, I just don't think I could buy one like that because they're cloned, and the clones are so close to the real thing that, I mean, in hand, it's super hard to tell. I mean, if you can tell, the forgeries have gotten that good. Anyways, ZT 0450 Sencut S35VN full titanium. Pretty nice smaller pocket knife. Appreciate y'all watching. Yeah, I mean, you already knew, right? Like, I can't let it go. I'm too obsessed and driven to just go, oh, I can't get in it. So I did get in it. I ended the video and then I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I took that screw out and I grabbed my heavier duty pliers and I got a hold of that lock bar or that metal insert, and I snatched a hold of that thing. And it's an interesting piece. I should have videoed it, but the detent ball and there's a pin that locates that are both fixed to this bar. And that metal insert snaps over it. And in true zero tolerance fashion, there's zero tolerance. Man, that thing fit tight. But once I got it out, I was able to take a little bit of tension off this lock bar. And I'll tell you, the action went from a B to A. It just took a little tension off of that blade or off of this lock bar, just the tiniest little bit. I didn't take a lot, but it transformed this action. And so, I mean, I'm going to call it an A- now. It's that good. If you flip it, you'll go, oh, wow, the action on this is wonderful. Whereas before, with that heavy detent on it, I wouldn't have said that. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's okay, is what I said, and it's what I would have said about it. Well, I got after it. I fixed it, and so now I'm happy. I mean, I see the knife in a whole new way, being able to operate this knife well. And, just as a precaution, I mean, I checked it. It's locked up. The lockup on it didn't change one bit. It just had excess tension on it to hold that over, and it wasn't necessary. So the knife functions really well now. And honestly, if I just run it a little bit, it wouldn't surprise me if it raises itself from an A- to an A. It's got great bearings. There's no reason in the world that this couldn't have A-level action. It just needs to run, I believe. Yeah, so anyways, last addendum. I mean, I really like the knife now. So anyways, appreciate y'all watching.